The space sector is becoming an increasingly powerful force in the global economy. Once dominated by the USSR, later Russia, the United States, and Europe, now nations like India, China, and other major economies are making their mark. Uzbekistan is also stepping in, showing its ambitions in space technology and a bid to host the 2028 International Astronautical Congress in Samarkand. The Congress is one of the world's largest space forums, gathering about 10,000 leaders, scientists, and experts annually. In 2023, it was held in Azerbaijan. In 2024, Milan, Italy. And this year, Australia will host it from September 29th to October 3rd. The 2028 host will be chosen from Samarkand in Uzbekistan, Mumbai in India, Manama in Bahrain, and Hebei in China. During his recent visit to Uzbekistan and Samarkand, I spoke with Dr. Feichtinger, the executive director of the IAC, about global space cooperation, Samarkand's bid for what he calls the Olympics of space, and the future of the industry. Let's take a listen. The International Astronautical Federation is considering bringing one of its next major events to Samarkand, potentially attracting over 15,000 participants. What makes Samarkand a compelling candidate for hosting such a global space congress?
Well, thank you very much for having me. It's a great pleasure for me to be here for the second time in Uzbekistan. The International Astronautical Federation it's created already in the 1950s with the aim to connect space people during the time of the Cold War, where the East and the West couldn't meet and connect. And with this neutral platform, the International Astronautical Congress, which we have now organized more than 75 times already very successfully, every year in a different country, different city worldwide, the IAF has created a platform where the entire global space community can meet, can exchange on neutral grounds and in a spirit of cooperation. Now, some say the International Astronautical Congress is the Olympic Games in space, and it's really true. If you look at how attractive it is for our member organizations to apply for getting the right of hosting an IAC. And also this year, of course, we have a strong competition with 4 competitors for IAC 2028. And of course, we were extremely happy to see the initiative of Uzbekistan, of the National Space Agency of Uzbekistan, to submit a bid and a proposal to host IAC 2028 in Samarkand. For the International Astronautical Federation and our community, it is very important to embrace and support emerging space countries. Uzbekistan is a rapidly developing emerging space country. And of course, hosting an IAC, hosting a global space community in the country, in such a beautiful city as Samarkand, will have tremendous benefits for Uzbekistan. It will kind of give a huge push in the development of the space sector in the country and the development of the ecosystem here.
And Uzbekistan is emerging as a player in the global space community through the Uzcosmos Agency. From the IAF's perspective, what unique contributions could Uzbekistan bring in international space cooperation?
You know, the International Astronautical Federation today has 563 member organizations from 81 countries. We are very proud of this very diverse and very inclusive community, and every member organization has a strong voice and is heard within our community, especially emerging space countries that can tell the story of how they are developing their ecosystem to be a role model also for other emerging space countries that are not yet as far advanced as Uzbekistan already is.
And let's talk about the space sustainability. It's an emerging topic and it's very important. How is the EIF addressing issues like space debris and environmental impacts, and could Uzbekistan contribute to these global goals?
You know, the Federation operates through its committees, technical and administrative committees, more than 45 committees, and they are covering actually all aspects of space, from space exploration, space applications, to also topics like space and society. And of course, several committees are also dealing with the question of sustainability on Earth. But there is also, as you mentioned, the other side of sustainability, the sustainability of the Earth's environment, of the orbital environment. The number of satellites that are put in orbit is increasing year by year, geometrically or exponentially, actually. And this, of course, raises questions and concerns of space traffic management, debris, how do we deal with space debris in order to avoid the situation that an orbit through a disaster of a coalition of debris or of satellites would be unusable. This would have a detrimental impact for the whole world. And therefore, of course, different organizations, different countries are looking into the question of space traffic management. What is missing today is an overall globally accepted strategy and mechanism in order to make sure that rules are obeyed to. And therefore, an organization like the IAF is perfectly positioned in order to bring together all the stakeholders that have to say something in this area, to discuss and to find common grounds on agreeing on measures, rules, and actions, actually. It goes as far as debris removal as well. And of course, every country can contribute to this one. It needs to be contributing to this one because it concerns everybody, including also emerging space countries that see the future in space, that are developing satellites to be put in space. It is in their very interest that the space environment is protected and is not destroyed before they are even able to make the full use of it.
So this is the potential area that Uzbekistan could focus on. And also, let's talk about the trends and perspectives. Emerging sectors like cosmic tourism are gaining momentum. How do you see this field evolving, and what are the prospects for scaling it up?
Spaceflight, human spaceflight is kind of the most, I would say, most attractive aspect or sector of space because it has the potential to excite the general public, especially the young generation. There are no better ambassadors for space than astronauts, of course, and therefore many countries are embarking on human spaceflight, but it is also a very costly and very complex activities. But I think humanity has this idea of getting out of the boundaries of Earth, and therefore there is, of course, the number of possibilities to send humans to space is increasing year by year. There are now private companies available that are offering for space professionals, but also for amateurs or tourists, whatever you want to name people, to go to space, see Earth from a different perspective, and be ambassadors for space. Space tourism today, or maybe a few years ago, was really limited to quite rich people if they are paying out of their own pocket, of course. But the prices are going down, of course. Technology is advancing. And it's also the question of orbital flight or suborbital flight.
So in the future, we can fly to the space. So it's possible.
Yes, I think
it's possible. Near future.
Space is getting more and more available and accessible for a broader and broader number of people. And you know, the effect to send somebody to space who is not a professional astronaut, who is not a millionaire, but it's kind of normal people, inspires a lot of big populations to say, what is possible for him or her, it's also possible maybe for me in a few years. that drives the young generation to select STEM education as their professional path, and that's all what we need.
Thank you. And to wrap it up, as someone with deep experience in international space cooperation, what role could Uzbekistan play in fostering partnerships between Central Asian countries and the global space community?
Uzbekistan is certainly, well, is the biggest country in Central Asia and has now big ambitions, has a huge potential, so is best fit, of course, to bring together the regional countries, to maybe even lead. So I think Uzbekistan, as the traditional binding link between East and West, can also contribute in the future in the space sector, being this binding link.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
And I hope you enjoyed your stay here in Uzbekistan. Thank you.